up, guys? It's Logan back with another video, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I don't think is getting a lot of attention, but I think it's just as important as a consideration as all of the other coronavirus news and issues that have been going on. So as we know, most of the United States and most of the world at this point is actually on quarantine or on lockdown. So whether that means you can't leave your house at all, or you can only go to stores for essential items like food, medicine, different things like that. It's kind of it's really serious, for good measure. I think all these precautions that everybody's been taking across the United States and the globe is extremely important to hopefully slow the spread of this, to give our healthcare a little bit of relief from all of this. But with that, obviously there's been a lot of people at home doing nothing. And this is exactly what I wanted to talk about today. So what happens when you take a bunch of individuals that may have a job that's somewhat active, but for the most part they're probably already sedentary, they're doing a desk job, their normal 9 to 5, and you either fire them or just tell them they need to work from home or just stay at home altogether. You get people that are already sedentary becoming even more sedentary. This obviously isn't the first thing on everybody's mind because everybody's worried about not getting the coronavirus, not contracting it to other people, and just overall kind of helping out the healthcare system as a whole. But I think the sedentary lifestyles that people are living during this time is incredibly important, both for short-term and long-term physical health. So the first thing I kind of wanted to talk about was actually the physical aspect of this. There's a few different things that just isolating yourself at home could warrant you for your physical health. If you already have health issues, such as being obese, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, etc., this is obviously just going to exacerbate those issues and make it even harder to kind of manage those symptoms and deal with things. So another thing is having poor posture throughout the day. If you're getting up and at least walking semi-regularly in your day-to-day job, that might be getting reduced by half or maybe even more. So you're doing a lot of sitting and potentially creating some muscle imbalances that could create some long-term postural issues. Probably one of the more important things is just the decreased movement in general. There's not a whole lot to do in your house, and you can only get up and walk to the fridge so many times a day, believe it or not. So the decreased movement is a huge issue, especially for individuals who are already suffering from obesity and overall lifestyle oriented. The statistic that I actually pulled up from the American College of Sports Medicine 2018, I think it's guideline for obesity. Basically it just shows a bunch of statistics on obesity, kind of how you can go about things as healthcare professionals and such. They noted that 39% of men and 27% of females are overweight. And that's not obese. Obese is actually 38% for males and 40% for females. So this is clearly already an issue before adding on to this extra dose of sedentariness. I'm not sure if that's a word, sedentariness. Added to this extra dose of sedentary behavior, I should say. That's clearly an issue, and people may not think of it again because it's not an immediate thing, but it's definitely something that if you have current health issues, you should be considering heavily. The next thing that may be more immediate and kind of not necessarily long-term, although it could be long-term as well, but for now we're going to kind of focus on it as an immediate issue, is the mental health that people are experiencing. This has created a lot of job layoffs and also people just not being able to see their family, be with their friends, or just do their daily normal activities. They're not able to do anything, and that's extremely, it can lead to depression. It's just sad. It's not really a world anyone wants to live in. It'll be interesting to look at some statistics when all this is over to see overall suicide rates and potential attempted suicides, because obviously this is creating a whole health of different mental issues that people are going through, and for good reason. I think that should be downplayed either. The good thing is, and as somebody who knows me, I preach physical activity to help a lot of different things in your daily life. So obviously we all know that physical activity can help with all the different health issues that you could be going with, whether that's postural issues, cardiovascular issues, just anything involving your physical health. So decreasing those chances of chronic diseases as you get older, cardiovascular disease, certain cancers, diabetes, etc. Physical activity obviously helps with this. We all know this. You've been preached at this from PE since you were in elementary school. But mental health can also be affected with a little bit of physical activity. It's documented that depression and anxiety actually go down with physical activity. The only issue is that people who are depressed or suffering anxiety usually have a harder time starting physical activity programs. So that's going to be something that the individual will either have to work with a health professional on kind of working through those issues, or potentially a sports psychologist too. Could be a multifaceted kind of project for an individual. I think the most important thing is finding a type of physical activity that you enjoy and that you could basically maintain forever. A couple of different things that I wrote down were just going out for walks. Going out for walks is recommended. Being outdoors in general is being recommended, and just kind of getting out, getting some fresh air, and clearing your mind. I think that's super important for not even just on quarantine lockdown, but for life in general. There's just something about going and taking a 10-20 minute walk that just makes your life a lot better, at least for that day. In addition to that, there is so many in-home workouts that you can find online right now. It's kind of saturated actually. But with that, there are so many different things you can do at home in probably less than 5 minutes to challenge your body, get a good sweat on, and just work your muscles a little bit. There are obviously numerous sporting activities you can still do outside, just assuming you keep your distance from your friends and everything. So stuff like soccer, throwing a football back and forth, shooting hoops. There's a bunch of different things that you could do. If you are part of a family, playing with your kids is something that is extremely tiring, but for good reason. You're burning a lot of energy. You are using a lot of different muscles to play with your kids. So go out and play with your kids. Do that. That's extremely tiring. And then another thing I put down is just gardening or lawn work. As it's starting to get nicer out in the United States, take advantage of this time to go do some gardening, mowing, just different activities that just move your body and get you, again, kind of sweating and moving. I think that's extremely important, not only for your current health, but kind of moving forward. So if you don't normally do these things, this is a great time to get started, and kind of make those changes now. So hopefully when you get back to work and do things for the rest of your life, it's kind of ingrained in you right now. So I just wanted to reiterate again, as we're going through this video, it may seem like I'm kind of telling you to not really take social self-isolation seriously, kind of go out doing your own thing. That's not what I want to get across in this message. Definitely keep to your own as much as you can. Try to avoid being in any public space for more than you need to. and just realize that self-isolation is okay for right now. And I think that's an extremely important part of kind of flattening the curve. I'm sure you've heard that term numerous times at this point, but it's extremely important. But through all that, physical activity should be a priority for you. If you care about your health and want to live the best life you can, not just now, but for 20, 30, even 40 years down the road, it should be something that you should include almost daily. And not even just for yourself too. You can put it past yourself. Think of your family members, think of your kids, think of other people too that care about you and want to see you live a life with as much, I should say, good health as possible. People don't want to see you getting open heart surgery because you lived a poor life when you were younger and fine. People want to not have that stress when you get older. So take it as a priority right now, and something that you can kind of move forward with. Also, guess what? Exercising and eating right helps the immune system. As we've heard from all these different sources, kind of the people who are getting most affected by this are people who have current chronic diseases or just compromised immune systems. So doing everything that you can to kind of build up your body's immune system should be priority, again, not for this, but for your entire life. Nobody likes being sick and being out of commission and not being able to do anything in their life in general. So again, exercise, eating right, it's great for your immune system. Shouldn't just be worrying about it right now. You should do that all the time. And as I've mentioned numerous times, just avoiding that chronic disease. I'll state them again: diabetes, heart disease, potentially different types of cancers. There's a lot of different things that just a little bit of physical activity can help with and go for a long way in your life. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you may have learned something and taken away from it. Go ahead and start doing some activity today and find something that you can do for a long time. Find something that you enjoy. Find your spouse, find some friends, find somebody that you can do something with, because it's important, not just now during this epidemic, but for the rest of your life. So moving forward, go out and get some exercise. Thanks for watching.